just kidding. We have a Korean brother, so he's like in charge of
Yeah. So, Maddie is a demon child.
Yeah, more strong-willed than demon. That's probably a better way to put it.
What do you do for a living? Do you?
I'm a student at NC State right now.
Woo!
In my senior year.
We have a house full of NC State students right now. What did y'all think about the Carolina win?
whatever.
So when you were young,
Yes.
your parents said you were a demon child.
Yeah, jokingly they said that, but I was just a handful, apparently.
Yeah.
How so? Now, have you grown out of that? Or your parents still think you're a
I've
handful?
grown out of it. I would say I have, but I guess I know they have to like deadbolt the front door because I wander outside in the middle of the night.
Still?
No, just as a kid. Yeah, and then like, when I was still sleeping in a crib, apparently I'd headbutt my dad when he put me in. I locked myself in my parents' bathroom with our dogs, and I covered them in Vaseline, perfume, baby powder.
Were you the one and only child?
Until like I was 3, and then I had a baby brother, and
Or they were going to give you up for adoption?
very different. He was very calm. He just played with his toys, and he was very quiet. So
He was scared of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you do for fun now?
What do I do for fun? School stuff.
No, I said for fun.
For fun.
Nobody does school stuff for fun.
No, it's not very fun. Well, I like photography, reading, traveling. I love traveling. Yes. No, I don't like sand.
Neither does Bob.
It gets everywhere.
And this is what's your name?
Stephen.
Stephen, what do you do for a living?
That's a great question. I'm an entrepreneur of many businesses, but one of the things I love to do now is help people transform their lives.
How do they do that?
Honestly, by working on themselves with some key attributes we teach them. You see, I was once homeless, actually here in Raleigh. I was born and raised. I was actually born at Wake Med, right down the street.
Right.
I almost took my life over here at Capitol 440 and Capitol Boulevard 440. I was trying to join the military, and then over the last 20 years, I went from sleeping in a car to building a very large, successful business in the area. And then from there, I took what I learned there to start training other people, teach them how to do the same stuff.
So you're a motivational speaker.
I don't like to think of myself as motivation, and I'll tell you why. A lot of folks that have go to I used to go to motivational seminars all the time.
Yeah.
Back when I was a kid, right? And it's part of like trying to get myself together. And what used to frustrate me is I would go to these events, and these people would be all like motivating. I'd be like, rah, you know. Yeah. And then I would leave the event, walk out the door, and be like, now what do I do?
Yeah.
You know, so we have a process that we talk about, that we try to work with, where we actually teach content in the morning, and we teach them how to apply it immediately. Because if it doesn't stick, it's no good. Let's face it.
Yeah.
You know, people walk around sometimes with you know, in frustration and confusion, and I've learned that we end up serving the person we once were.
Yeah.
You know, if you can identify who you used to be, or you know what used to hold you back, then you can help somebody else overcome it. So.
Right.
So I was in a blah mood yesterday, and I don't know why. So how can you help me with that? I mean, today I'm good, but yesterday I was in a blah mood. I was like in one of those, kind of moods.
Well, it takes about 45 minutes. How much time you got?
Till 10 o'clock?
Till 10, yeah. Okay, so you and your buddy is in the military, or was in the military, right?
Yeah.
And what are the 3 things that if somebody were listening right now that you could tell somebody to change their life, like starting right now?
The first step is to just gain perspective on where you are and kind of where you've been. So to move forward, you got to go backwards a little bit. And then talk with a mentor, talk with a coach about recognizing some of those triggers, those blind spots that keep coming up and hitting you, giving you a blah day. And then work with that mentor to develop a plan, and then just work the plan. Be like nice.
Cake is like a blah mood for me. I think cake and sweet foods create blahs for me.
They do, yeah.
So I need to eliminate that.
Well, don't eliminate them. Just moderate.
Oh, yeah, that's hard.
It's funny you said that, because here are 4 questions that I don't care, you listeners right now could use right now to start gaining more perspective. First one is, what's right? What can you be grateful for right now?
Right.
What is right in your life, right? That's something you amplify. The next one is, what's missing, right? So that's what you need to add. The next one is, what's confusing, which simply needs clarification. And the 4th one is typically, what's wrong. Now, most times, when you do what's wrong, what actually happens is you can actually trace it back to what's confusing or missing. Very seldom are our lives wrong as much as they are misplaced.
Can you have where you don't have anything that's wrong, so to speak?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like currently I wouldn't have anything that's wrong.
Yeah, some
Maybe
folks just need to sharpen an edge.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you know, when I was trying to become an entrepreneur, no one trained me how to be an entrepreneur. I was a high school dropout. You know, I had to drop out. You actually know my brother Ryan, Bob, and, you know, I had to drop out of high school to help my dad pay the bills and feed him. You know, and that was a scenario where it was wrong for my dad, but I had to take care of the family. But when I began trying to shift to become an entrepreneur, then it was just like, I just need to sharpen these edges. I need to learn what I need to learn.
Wait, did you go back to school or you just did it without
I've never had any college or any kind of background whatsoever.
Our kids stay in school, but that's really awesome that you don't have that you
Yeah,
did
my
not.
flagship company, Custom Home Exteriors, is in the area. You see my trucks are all over the place, and I've got a wonderful team there, a wonderful leadership team. But what I learned there is how we encourage those guys. And that business is now in 3 states, and we do a lot of work with a lot of the national guys here in town. And it was only like 3 years ago I even came out, so to speak, to tell my story. You know, because it reads a lot like Forrest Gump. There's simply not enough time to go into it all.
Yeah.
Forrest Gump.
Yeah, it literally does. You know, I have these, you know, those ups and downs moments. Hey, Lieutenant Dad, I got new legs. You know.
Now, you have a show that people can come to. I think you said you'd give away some spots so you can call us.
Yeah. I tell you what, you know, if you guys want, transformulive.com. So transformulive.com. We go through an enormous amount of content. Most people never take the time to focus on themselves. They focus on everything else, their families, their daughters, their husbands or wives.
When I get my
school.
nails done, doesn't that consider focusing on myself? Like
You know,
that?
ironically, that's called replenishment.
Oh, I do a lot
Yeah,
of that.
everybody has to have a
I
replenishment.
like replenishment.
Yeah, but you know,
She's gonna start using that word.
Boston, I have to go replenish myself.
that's right. You know, so our team, we had a local entrepreneur that's experienced our content, and it changed his life. And he actually sponsored some seats. So we have 5 seats that if you guys have callers, if you got people out there that are looking for something, clarification of their life, trying to get over a hump, so to speak. Maybe they went through that separation, divorce. Maybe they had a weird childhood. Or maybe they're just looking to sharpen some edges. If you guys want, we'll give you 5 seats. The CFO says I should be charging about $1,000 a seat for them. We put it in as a program of about $300 for the whole program, 3 days, including catered lunch. And you do everything from a live event setting where music and the whole deal, like it's a nice setting, to an actual personalized plan. So you come in on day 1, you learn the content, you apply the content, you go out the gate on day 3 applying the content, and you literally have 6 things to focus on. So rather than these billions of ideas and all these things you got in your brain, we hope we teach you how to hone that down into 6 selections.
Hey, what's your life advice for everybody?
My advice?
Yeah, what's your 3 things for somebody? Eat a salad.
No.
I've heard you say so.
Listen to Lou.
Things, listen to
Happy
Lauren.
life, happy life.
Yeah, but I think most of all things get focused on people when the small things.
That's right.
You don't need to focus so much on the small things
That's
because it's the big things that really matter.
That's right.
So focus on the big things, and everything else will follow.
That's right.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
So that's my 2. You're welcome.
And make me a damn sandwich
And
or
make me a
whatever.
damn
Yes,
sandwich.
exactly. Hey, real quick before we go to break, we have somebody that hit somebody on a bicycle. Wait, what do I do with the microphone?
She's got it.
Come here. Oh, you have it.
Use this?
Yeah.
So you just want me to tell what happened?
So she basically hit somebody on a bicycle and bought him a new bike.
I was leaving the Apex Walmart, and when you leave, there's like a downhill slope. And I looked left, looked right, there are no cars, but I guess I didn't look on the sidewalk. And there were 2 kids that were Mormons on bicycles going out. And when I went to pull out, I saw this kid slide across my windshield. And I got out of my car, and I'm like blocking up all of Walmart. And I get out, and he like stands up, and he looks at his hands, and he's like looking around like, how am I alive right now? And all I could say was, I'm sorry. I just kept saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And his friend's like directing traffic. And I like pull him over to the sidewalk, and his whole front tire is like bent in half. And I'm just looking at it, and I just kept saying, I'm sorry. I gave him my number. I was like, I don't know what I can do, but call me if you know what I can do. And then I was like, do you need a ride anywhere?
I mean, you guys didn't call the cops or anything?
No, he was really nice about it. He was so nice about the whole thing because I told him, because at first, like, his friend got done
Well,
directing
number 1, he's a Mormon.
and he was just really, like, he was a sweet kid. He was really young, and so, his friend got done directing traffic and walked up to me. He's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I'm fine." And then as soon as they left, he like points to my hood. He's like, "Your hood's dented from where I hit it." I was like, "That's okay, it's fine." And then he calls me a couple days later. He's like, "If you want or you could, like, I need help paying to fix the bike." I was like, "Yeah, of course." And it was like $100 that I don't really have as a poor college student, but I was like, I have to help this kid's poor bike. And so he got it fixed, and then he tried to call me and kind of like talk to me about the Mormon church, and I was just like, no thanks, I'm really glad you got your bike back, watch out for cars, and like haven't heard this.
So if you see Colleen, watch out for her.
Get out of her way.
Watch out for Colleen.
It's the Showgram back after this. Hang on.
Woo!